A series of climate records on temperature, ocean heat and Antarctic sea ice have alarmed scientists who say their speed and timing is unprecedented, with some linking the weather with climate change. Now, while many people think more awareness of these issues is needed, the best way of doing so is up for debate. Well, on Friday, the Open became the latest sporting or cultural event to be targeted by the campaign group Just Stop Oil after previous demonstrations at the Ashes. We also had demonstrations at Wimbledon, the BBC proms, as well as protests on public roads. Now, supporters say disruption is the only way to shine a light on such an important issue, but opponents say the radical methods risk alienating the wider public. So today we are asking, have protest methods become counterproductive? And joining me to discuss this from Just Stop Oil is Reverend Canon Jonathan Herbert and Professor Rupert Read, Director of the Climate Majority Project. Thank you so much for coming in. Great to have you both here. It is an emotive subject, this, and I mean we've seen, Jonathan, of course, in the past disruptive protests by Just Stop Oil, and one of the founders of the Climate Emergency Fund has actually said that, and who finances the movement, as you well know, has called the methods disruption for the sake of disruption. Do you think at this point you're maybe losing public sympathy?
I don't think so. I think we're actually, we're actually getting into the media so the real issues can be discussed. We're on, we've been on, serious BBC news programmes like The World at One. Today, we've been on The Moral Maze, really looking at the morality of climate change and protest. I don't think we're losing public support, but Just Stop Oil's not there to be popular. We're there to really, yes, as you say, shine a light on the climate emergency and shine a light on this government, which is now, which has granted over 100 licenses, new licenses to develop oil, coal and gas, which is an insanity from, the climate science we know. There has to be an urgency about the debate. And the chief scientific advisor to the government, former chief scientific advisor, Sir David King, said in 2021, what we do in the next 3 or 4 years is going to determine the future of humanity. It's so vital. I went on a wonderful march for biodiversity in April. 70,000 people came along to it, and Jonathan, it just wasn't reported in the media.
So, and that is the point you're trying to make here. So obviously now, Rupert, Jonathan, you're both on the same page that something has to be done to address this issue, of course. And you used to be part, Rupert, of Extinction Rebellion. But you've changed your approach and you don't feel that the message is getting across now.
So we in the Climate Majority Project are here for everyone who doesn't vibe personally with the methods of Just Stop Oil, but agrees with the goal that we've got to have a fundamental transformation. Rhodes is burning right now. People know that something very, very different has to be done. What we're saying to people is get involved in whatever way suits you. So I'll give you one example. We've just started working with a group of people in insurance, because an uninsurable world, well, that's a world in which the insurance business is obviously gone, right? So it's in the enlightened self-interest of many businesses to step onto the right side of this issue. So whether you're in insurance or in the law or in teaching or a farmer, whatever you are, there is a case for doing what you can from the ground up to start to change things. And everybody needs to do that. Once you know...
But how? And that's what we're discussing here. How is that done? If we're not getting people's attention, then, and that's what Jonathan's trying to say, then that surely is the most important thing.
Well, look, what we need is huge numbers of people to do stuff of the kind that we're talking about here and to do stuff in their communities, community climate action, for example. And that's because for every one person who does something with Just Stop Oil, you need to have a far larger number doing the kind of thing that I'm talking about in order to get the media's attention. There's also, of course, the responsibility on you guys here, but I'm glad you've got me here this morning, and we are starting to get a bit more of a more nuanced debate on this, I think.
But is it the right attention, that you're getting when you listen to the crowds at some of those events and they're booing, they're jeering, they're not cheering you on? Surely you want to get people on side. Is that not the point?
I think above all, we want to get the message across. No new oil licensing. Oil oil, the burning of fossil fuels brings death. I mean, in London,
that is your message. We know the message,
in London
but do you
last
think
year,
it's getting
40.
across?
It is getting across, I believe. Yes, because yes, we're getting criticism for our disruption, but then it opens the space for the wider discussion. Yeah,
Which is, I guess, where we come in the Climate Majority Project. We, as I say, we are here for everyone who understands the issue that Jonathan is rightly drawing attention to, but wants to proceed on it in another way. I would urge people to go to climatemajorityproject.com and get involved.
What do you make of what Just Stop Oil is doing? What do you make of it?
Look,
What do you think whenever you see those images and the protests happening and the reaction from people?
Sure. A wise man once said, if you're without blemish, then you can throw the first stone. Much more positive than complaining about something or whining is to actually do something positive. And that's what we're calling on people to do. Do something positive, get involved. If you do that, then you'll be in a position to look your children in the eye when they ask you, as they will ask everyone, what did you do once you knew? So whatever your stance in terms of how far you're willing to go, the onus is on everyone to get involved, to do something positive, not just to moan.
Rupert, Jonathan, thank you so much for your time. We've run out of time on this. Thank you.
Thank you.